Hey, how's it going, guys? So listen, we're back here with part 5, the finale to this year's Humidor Tour. This is going to be the finale. But before we get into it, I wanted to ask you guys a question. And I posed this question before in a short, long time ago. But essentially, I mentioned to you guys before that I'm as into and as knowledgeable about whiskey as I am about cigars, if not more so. And so what I was wondering is that if you guys wanted to see more of, say, the whiskey collection, did you want me to add whiskey in general to this channel? Or did you want me to create a separate channel just solely for whiskey? Or do you guys not care at all? Regardless, as you guys can see here, I have a very extensive collection of whiskey. A very extensive collection. And I promise, guys, I do not drink nearly as much as it probably looks like. Honestly, I'm starting to get back into fitness myself. I haven't had a drink in just about a month, but I also obviously indulge from time to time, and it is a hobby of mine. It is a passion of mine. Basically, I'm as passionate about it as I am cigars. I just don't generally post a lot about it on the channel because most of you guys are here for the cigars. But if you are interested and curious and want me to maybe add whiskey to the channel in terms of like reviews, discussions, knowledge drops, etc., I have zero problem doing that. Just let me know. It's whatever you guys want. You know, like I said, if you want me to create a separate channel, that's fine. If you want me to add whiskey to the channel, that's cool too. Or if you just want me to stick with cigars and reviews, knowledge drops, pickup vids, etc., I have zero problems doing that, guys. So just leave me some feedback in the comment section and we'll take it from there. All right, guys. So here we are for part 5 of this year's updated Humidor Tour. And this is going to be the finale, guys. This is what we've been working up towards. Finally got the opportunity to film this last one. I've been filming a lot of content for you guys. There's a lot of content to drop. But this Tupperdoor right here, this is the one that started it all. This was my very first Tupperdoor. As some of you know, I actually started the collection with a glass top humidor. But as far as like this channel goes, for all intents and purposes of the broader spectrum of my collection, this is my very first Tupperdoor. This is when I kind of knew I had a problem. That's it, guys. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so we start off with these 2 cedar trays. We'll start over here in this tray. So with this section, we got some miscellaneous cigars. We have the Viaje Birthday Blend. I'm not 100% sure if this is the 2022 or the 2023. I got these a few years ago down on vacation in New Orleans. Then we have some H99 Liga Privadas. These are also about 2 years old. And then underneath those, we have some Davidoff Year of the Rabbits. As you'll see, I'm a big Davidoff and Fuente fanboy, if you haven't already garnered that from my previous videos. Down here, we have some TAA Hemingway Classic in the Oscuro Sun-Grown. This is a red band. This is a limited release for 2024. And then also in this section, we have some Opus X Forbidden 13s or Forbidden X's, whatever you want to call them. This is the Beso Prohibido. And then the rest of these are Sensuals, which is a Torpedo. Absolutely beautiful cigars, man. Absolutely beautiful cigars. Love these. And then over here in this second tray, I like to usually call this my Fuente tray. But I might have to call it the Shark tray now. So in here, we have some Opus X Sharks. As you can see, we got a bunch in here, 2 layers worth. And then I'm sure you guys know that I also have more Sharks in the collection in other totes. These are the Añejo Shark. So this is the Añejo number 77 Shark. And then beside, which I have more of those in the collection as well. And then beside those, we have the Don Carlos Shark, which I also have more of in the collection. So as you can see, I'm a huge Fuente fan, but I'm also a big fan of the Sharks. Here we got a Don Carlos Personal Reserve. These are actually still floating out around me. I just seen a box of these the other day up for grabs. Still debating on whether or not I'm going to go back and grab that box, because I have some other things on my radar right now. I'm really not too pressed about the personal reserves. As you can see, plenty of Opus X Sharks there. So the Opus X Shark is actually my favorite Vitola of the regular, like, baseline Opus X blend. Just something about these Sharks. Just absolutely love these things, man. Over here, we got a Lost City in Pyramid or Torpedo. And then here we have another Añejo in number 55, which is pretty much the same size as a Don Carlos number 2. It's like a 6x55 Torpedo. Down here in this smaller tray, we got some Padron Black PB97s. These actually surprised me. I'm not a huge Padron fan. Local shop around me got a couple boxes of these. Actually, several shops got a couple boxes of these. And these were a PCA retailer exclusive. So the only people that got these were people who went to PCA 2023 and ordered them. And then they ended up hitting shelves around late 2024. And then beneath those, we have a couple loose Feral Flying Pigs. These are also about 2 years old. These are actually some of the first pigs I ever got. I have a few boxes of those now. Debating on whether or not I should keep stocking up on them. All right, so time to remove the trays here. All right, so let's get into it. So here we have a box of Aganorsa Rare Leafs. Had these for a little over 2 years. These are just chilling here. Here we have a couple Fuente Añejos in 888, which is your little skinny torpedo with an open tip at the head. And then here we have a couple loose Davidoff Nicaragua 10th anniversaries. These are phenomenal sticks, bro. Absolutely great cigars. Beautiful sticks. They were good when I got them, but there's actually a box of these in here that I've been smoking out of. And I just recently had one. They've gotten so much better. I remember liking these when I first got them, but I fell in love with these recently. And I was fortunate enough to have a retailer near me who still had some of these in stock. And so as I was smoking some out of my box, I was grabbing replacements, which is nice. Here we have a Arturo Fuente Rare Pink and Sophisticated Hooker. It's the biggest Vitola they make in that. Here we have a Casa Fuente and a Personal Reserve. This is a box of Definition Cigars Noir, which is their Cameroon. Beautiful stick. Absolutely beautiful stick. Highly underrated. A lot of people don't know about Definition cigars like that. We have a box of Lampert cigars, Don Patron, which is the Toro of their regular release Oro blend. And then here's a box of the My Father in La Promesa. This is actually the cigar that made me realize I like Lanceros. This box, which I haven't smoked anything out of really, is also right around 2 years old. This is a box of Tatuaje Black Label and Petit Lancero. Also another phenomenal cigar. I was going through a Lancero phase at the time, and this was one of them I tried after the My Father La Promesa Lancero, and absolutely fell in love with this stick. Beautiful cigar. So most of the cigars you're going to see in here are right around 2 years old. And so one of the things that you have to consider when you take cigars out of the wrapper is that they're going to get damaged. That's where this damage on the foot came from. That's from me taking cigars out of the cellophane. So it's not something that happens consistently. As you can see, these other ones are just fine. But you're going to come across one here and there where, you know, there's just a little bit of damage. Again, not a big deal. Next up, we have the Davidoff Signature Number 1 Limited Edition. I'm pretty sure these came out in 2023. That's the thing about it. I have so many cigars. A lot of the time, I just forget when I pick these up. But I'm certain that these came out in 2023. These aren't a true Lancero either. I'm pretty sure these are like 7 or 7.5 by 40, as opposed to 7 by 38, which is more of a true Lancero. But nonetheless. And then here you have the Millennium Lancero by Davidoff, which also came out in 2003. As you guys can see, I smoke my cigars. Like this is a collection, but these aren't museum pieces that are meant to just be looked at. I smoke these. Here we got a bag of HVC hotcakes in like Petite Robusto. These are like 4.5 by 50 or 4.5 by 52 Robustos. I think these are 4.5 by 52 because these are decently sized ring gauges. We have a few more Arturo Fuente Rare Pinks and Sophisticated Hooker, as well as a BBMF Natural. This BBMF Natural was rolled in 2018. So that makes this thing about 7 years old, depending on exactly when it was rolled in that year. Here we got a couple of spare Andalusian Bulls. These are just chilling. I may add these to one of my boxes because I have several boxes of Andalusian Bulls. So these are a bit newer though. I just got these in probably a few months ago. Here, this is what I was mentioning earlier, a box of Davidoff Nicaragua Limited Editions and Grand Toro. You guys saw the loose ones up there. This is a full box. So the ones in here that you see not in cellophane are originals to this box. And then the two over here that you see in cellophane are replacements for the two that I've smoked out of here. So this box is 2 years old. The release itself is 2 years old. And so any of these you find, if you find any of these in a while, or if you see anybody with these cigars are at least 2 years old, period. The main shtick with this particular release is that the combined age of all the tobaccos that they used to roll the cigar was 45 years. Now that confused some people because they're like, wait, these cigars can't be 45 years old. That's because they're not. If you add up the age that each individual tobacco that's in this blend, from the wrapper down to the fillers, adds up to a combined age of 45 years. But that's really neither here nor there because, first of all, we're talking about Davidoff. And second, any really, really good manufacturer is typically using tobaccos that have age on them. I mean, for God's sakes, Plasencia's Almafuerte Eduardo I, that Colorado Claro wrapper, is 10 years old. It was aged for 10 years before they used it for that cigar. So it's not like this is truly crazy, right? But nonetheless, they did blend a phenomenal stick. All right, moving on. We have a box of Cubans. These are the H. Upman Connie number 2s or Connoisseur number 2. I just call them Connie 2s. This box is also 2 years old. This is a 25 cab. Grab one of these out here for you guys to see. Absolutely beautiful stick. This is probably the first Cuban I smoked that I liked, or not the only one, I should say. Actually, this might be the second. I think the first Cuban that I smoked that I liked was the Romeo y Julieta #1, which is a like very small petite Lancero. Those are pretty good. So I ended up buying the H. Upmann Connie 2s. Beautiful cigar. Haven't smoked one of these in a while. I do plan on getting back to it because I'm aging this box. Because as most of my veterans out there know, Cubans typically require age to be their best. That's just a thing. Cubans used to be aged before they came out, way, way back in the day. But in order to keep up with demand, doesn't happen as often. So these are legitimately 2 years old. As you can see, the box date here, March 23. Here is one of my pride and joys. This is a box of the Liga Undercrown Sungrown. So this line, the Sungrown line of Liga Undercrowns, was discontinued. Not really sure why, but discontinued back in 2023. So I just made sure that I bought a box to have for future reference, because this is one of the first cigars that I ever smoked that I got legitimate flavor notes off of. It's a very sweet cigar. A very, very sweet cigar. It's super sweet. It almost tastes flavored, to be honest with you. But yeah, they don't make these anymore. If you're lucky, you might know a B&M around you with some in stock. I haven't really seen any online retailers with these in stock, although I'm sure there's some somewhere. But yeah, they discontinued that line. And you'll notice a lot of these boxes don't have any humidification directly in them. And that's mostly because this box takes care of itself. I go through these boxes consistently, usually on a weekly to bi-weekly basis. I take measurements with my Humidor Pro just to make sure that everything's holding in a good vicinity, in a good range. And trust me, these are good. All right, over here we have a box which you guys have seen earlier in a previous box, but this is actually my first box of the Lampert Cigars Golden Retailer Program Limitadas from 2021. You guys can see I smoked a few out of here. This is one of my all-time favorite cigars, one of my all-time favorite Connecticut's. These are massive Salomones. You're going to need 2.5, 3 hours to get through one of these, but I promise you it's worth it. It's just that enjoyable. Can't really find these anymore. I haven't seen anybody with them. But if you guys see it, let me know, because I want some. And then this here is a box of Davidoff Escudo Robustos in Tubo. I smoked one of these. Love it. Flavor bomb, in my opinion, as far as Davidoff goes. And they actually just put out the 10th anniversary version of the Escudo, which is right in line with the 10th anniversary of these Black Label Davidoffs. Same size box, same quantity, same vitola. Also the same 45-year age total between all the tobaccos that are in it. So my guess is with all of the Discovery Series Davidoffs, the Black Band Davidoffs, that's going to be their thing moving forward. They're all going to be Grand Toros in these 12-count boxes, super limited, as well as the whole 45-year aged thing. We got a box of SP 1014 550s. Beautiful stick. A box of Lampert Cigars El Gringo, which is their Robusto size in that Oro blend. A box of Oliva Series Master Blends 3. These are actually really good. These are chocolate bombs, in my opinion. That's what I tend to get off of these. This is nearly a full box. I've smoked several out of here, but man, these are really good. Yep, that's fresh. And another box of SP 1014 Blacks in 550. Here we have a box of Goldie some La Palina Goldies in Prominente. As you guys can see, I've smoked a few of these. This cigar is a real treat. This is probably the first New World cigar I ever had that I would deem Cuban-esque. And it earns that 100%. We have a bag of SP 1014 Reds in Lancero. And then last but not least, my favorite of the Plasencias. We got a box of, throwing this one-handed, there we go. We got a box of Eduardo the Firsts. So this is my favorite Almafuerte. Green band, Toro-sized Almafuerte. These have a 10-year aged Colorado Claro wrapper on them. And these are absolutely phenomenal. In fact, this box is from June 2023. So this box will officially be 2 years old in a few months. All right, guys. So that officially wraps up this year's Humidor Tour. As you can see, it is vastly expanded from last year's Humidor Tour. In fact, it's right around twice the size. And I actually got more cigars in that that aren't included in this video. And you guys will see those in some upcoming content, so don't worry about it. But yeah, man, it's been a journey so far. And I appreciate you guys taking that journey with me. That said, guys, thanks for supporting. Thanks for showing love. I love you guys. And in the comments, if you guys want me to add whiskey, reviews, knowledge drops, pickup vids, etc. onto this channel, or if you guys want me to make a separate channel for that, or if you guys don't care, just let me know. Leave me some comments in the comment section and we'll take it from there. But per the usual, thank you guys for watching. Love y'all. I'll catch y'all next time.